Dear Lightworkers, the time has come. We need you now. Many of you have felt like in your lives that you're here with some kind of special mission or some kind of purpose, but you didn't exactly know what. Now, this is the time where it will unfold. This is the time right now where you will notice a shift. You are basically asked and invited to show your light as a light worker into these times now. This is a time of activation of many, many light workers. Some of you have already known for maybe many years that you are a light worker, that you are working for the light, that you're here to represent your divinity, which is divine light and love, and that this is what you would like to share and live and bring to this planet. And many of you are awakening to this sense of purpose and to this realization that this is what they are. And I want to encourage you, when you notice that you feel attracted to this type of subject or this type of identification, follow that. And even if you think maybe this is just my ego wanting to feel special as a light worker, or still follow it, right? And look at what, if it was an ego thing, what is it in that I find attractive, that I find interesting, that interests me even to look into this. Because that way you can also invite your consciousness in to see beyond the ego and see, what does it trigger within me? What does it poke within me that feels like this is actually striking a chord, the chord of my essence, even if my ego did not get any satisfaction out of identifying as a light worker and maybe working or living as a light worker. What is it that is in my essence still holding this longing to share my light, to share the love, to help support humanity, being more of their divine nature, of kindness, of unity, of love, of light, of joy, of peace? What is it within me? And then you will get to the core of, is this something I'm just putting, is this just a layer I'm putting onto myself because it satisfies my ego? Or is this actually a calling? Is this actually what I sense is deep within me, that is coming from my essence? And no matter what it would mean for my ego to experience or for my self-identification to experience, I feel like I want to share this and live this no matter what. Because this is what will be required of you also during these turbulent times that we're in and that lie before us. We all know this. It's going to be challenging, but this is why we need you. We need every single one of the light workers, because all the events and messages that will flood in or that are flooding in, that cause people to go into fear and into hopelessness and into desperation and depression. I mean, we really, really need to look at self-care and really, really need to look at mental health. And this is also what so many of you light workers are actually doing. So many of you are already in the mental health profession. So many of you are already therapists, we need that. Right? And you will possibly find new ways of supporting people through this time. Yes? And also supporting yourself, because many of you are also suffering, and many of you, light workers, are also kind of nearly at the brink of resigning, like resignation, this is it, it's hopeless, let's just let the world go to the dogs, it's, I give up. No. This is the time where many more light workers are being activated. So the light worker army is increasing day by day by day. And this is also the time where, and I'm going to help you with this now, because if you feel hopeless and if you feel stuck, or if you feel like there is no point, or if it makes you sad or fearful, I invite you to use every time you feel this, right? It's okay to feel it. It's okay that our human self feels fear and feels pain and feels anxiety and feels sadness and maybe even desperation. This is okay. So feel what you feel and then notice who is feeling that. It's your human self, your identity, your ego. And that is fine, right? Because it's a human reaction. But then remember who you came here to be. Remember who you really are, what you really are. And then fill yourself up from that higher perspective with the hope, with the absolute trust that it is going to be fine and we're all working together, that things are moving into the direction that humanity wants to. Ultimately, it will be rocky. It has to be rocky for things to change. It has to be rocky. We know this. But the trust and the knowing and the certainty that no matter what is in front of you, it's a temporary thing, and we as light workers, our answer every single time will be more light. So that the dimmer switch, we're going to turn this up a nudge every single time that something comes our way that makes us feel fear. We feel it and it triggers us and gets us to turn up our light even more. What does it mean? Our response will be more love. Our response will be more joy. Our response will be more freedom. Our response will be a higher vibration. And at the beginning, this may feel very strange because usually we get absorbed by these feelings and emotions that are being triggered by something that causes fear or anxiety or whatever, and then we find it hard to get out. So rather than allowing ourselves to move into that state, what we do is we acknowledge it. And this is also great to feel, because you see, so many people they don't have the perspective we have. They are stuck in this 3D world and they think this is real and they think this is all there is. And for them, hopelessness and desperation is the only thing that exists, especially during these times. And they're stuck in this. So when we experience a portion of that by something that's happening in the outside world, we observe it and notice how we feel, and we have this reaction of, oh my God, like this cannot be real, this cannot be happening, and it's like denial and no, and like it's almost unbearable to see what is happening. I don't need to tell you in detail what it is, you all know what it is. So it's like when you feel this, know you're sharing your feelings with so many people on the planet. But the advantage you have as a light worker, and this is why you're here, you can take this. You have compassion for every single human that feels this way and that is being stuck and that does things they may not want to do because they experience this fear and they just don't want to experience this fear, right? So this also gets us to be compassionate and non-judgmental and holding everyone in this. But then we know we're much bigger than all of this. We have already sorted this all out. Everything is in the now, so the future has already happened. And the future we know is the future that we as light workers have already created. It's already done. So you come back to that point of trust and of absolute certainty. And then you say, right, and from this point of certainty, I'm moving forward step by step. My light is going up. So instead of responding with fear and staying in it, you feel it, and then you say, my answer is trust. My answer is joy. My answer is my light. My answer is my love. My answer is my support. My answer is my compassion. My answer is my consciousness of us as a unified entity, almost everyone on earth. And not just this, we're all one because we all come from the same source energy. It is the same. It seems to be split. It seems to be divided. It seems to be fractured. But this is just the play. And we're here to find our way back to unity. And every single one of you light workers now is being invited to show this, to live it. More and more and more. This is actually the time that you have been waiting for so long. All of you who feel like you have waited for you throughout your life for something to happen, it's now. It's now. And this is beautiful. This is why you came. And no, it's not going to be easy, and it is not easy. But if we wanted it to be easy, we would have stayed over there. Always remember that. And I'm not saying this lightheartedly, like all of us have our challenges, but we get through this together. And you with your light, all of you, let's support each other and let's support humanity as a whole. Let's support this planet. And the more it seems hopeless, the more hopeless it seems, the more we turn up our light. So there is no overtaking of the light by the darkness. It cannot happen because we're responding with more light every time there seems to be darkness coming our way. And I'm speaking in these dualistic terms because this is what we experience right now. But this is why you're here, dear light workers. We need you. We need your light now. So you're so brave for coming here again and again and again. You are so brave for distancing yourself vibrationally from source energy so much that it almost feels like we're separate from source altogether. We're lost, right? We're not. We're still source energy. And every single one of you light workers, you realize that, you know it, and now this consciousness and this knowing and this wisdom will float into the collective consciousness. This is why we're here. Let's hold the light together and let's spread it. Let's increase it. That's why we came here. That's what we came here to do. And thank you for being here and still doing this day by day by day. We're not giving up. Guys, girls, we're not giving up. Souls, spread your wings. You're here to shine now. You're here, we're here to shine now. And this really comes from the heart. Okay? With this being said, I'm going to love you and leave you, and we'll talk again next time if you want to.